What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Pete TK Bland back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. Everybody, we are back from a week hiatus. It has been a very, very long week. If you guys don't follow me on social media, me and my family did move. We're all settled in. Love the new place and appreciate you guys. Well wishes too on social media. Everybody that said, have a great day and hope you enjoy the new place. Appreciate you guys so much. But we're back, man, and it feels like I've been going a month. It feels like we all been talking about this pregame. It feels like we've been going forever. But you know what? We never going to leave you guys high and dry. I know it's hot as hell. It's the summertime, but we got a lot more coming for you guys. So let's go ahead and just get started, man. Let's dive right into my panel members, man. These three gentlemen, or four gentlemen, some of the other people aren't here right now, but these three gentlemen with me are amazing. They're my compatriots, my brothers from another mother. We're going to go ahead and get started with you, Stagger. Let everybody know what you got going on. I know you've been working through some computer issues today, but let everybody know what you got coming up for you.
Just trying to get my stream working normal again. You can catch me on Mixer.com at Stagger, and not really much going on. Just trying to grind it out, man. So, trying to sleep and be alive and keep things rolling.
It's them dog days of summer, right? Don't we all kind of? Oh, it's too hot, man. Like, it's crazy. I don't even want to stream podcast. It's too hot, man. It's ridiculous. But we appreciate you, man, taking some time to be on the show today, man. We do this every single Saturday. Once again, if you're new, drop a like, drop a comment, say hello in the chat, spread the word on Twitter. I already put out the link, man. If your friends love video games, tell them this is the best show on the weekends. You can find video game news, the most balanced and unbiased show you can find throughout the week, man. No doubt about it. I put my hand in my heart. I promise you guys. So next up is another member of ours, the newest member, actually. Centurion, man, let us know what's going on with you. I know you got the channel popping, man. What you got in the mix?
Well, how's it going? Hopefully the move was all right for you, and I'm glad to be here. I'm still cracking away at Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but for my channel, I actually want to get into doing a little bit more game reviews. So I got a piece of content dropping tomorrow where I'm going to actually review Crash Bandicoot Team Racing. Me and my wife love kart racers, and this one actually, I'm kind of sad that I missed it during the PlayStation 1 era, but I'm glad I was able to play it now.
Nice. That's what you do, man. You pick up these awesome games when they bring them back, man. It gives you the opportunity to play them. But once again, thank you for being here this Saturday as well, man. Hanging out with us. And last but not least, the man that does not need an introduction. I don't even know why I do introductions anymore for this gentleman. But Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, man, what you got going on? How you been, brother?
Been pretty good. Trying to avoid arguments on Twitter, but for the most part,
I love
catching up on some Forza stuff and some Division stuff. But been hanging low for a little bit. But glad to be here. Took a little weekend break last weekend, but we're back at it. Glad to be here.
Let's get it, man. We all a little rusty, so you got to mind us. We just working our way back into things, kind of greasing the wheels. But once we get going, it's going. So catch up with us, man. Once again, hit that link, share the link, like the video, man, as you file in. Say hello to everybody in the panel. Say hello to everybody in the chat. We have a fantastic chat. Really, really cool stuff. So everybody hang out, have fun, sit back, kick your feet up, and enjoy the show. Let's go ahead and dive right in. We are not going to wait any longer. So we're going to start with something that I've been pretty much avoiding all week. Now, we talked about this pregame. And I was tempted to make a video about this, but I'm like, you know what? Let me not add any fuel to the fire. So we're talking Remedy getting the rights back to Alan Wake 2. And this has been a big, big, big topic for the last probably week or so. There's a lot of people on either side of the fence, and I want to get you guys' opinion as well, the panel, as well as the chat, on what you guys think about what's going on with Remedy, that whole situation with Xbox giving up that IP to Remedy. Essentially, PlayStation may be doing something with Remedy, maybe some exclusive stuff. So we're going to start with you, Stagger. I wasn't playing when I said you going first. So, I want your opinion on what do you think about that? We've heard a lot. We've heard a lot from a lot of people, man. What is your direct opinion on that situation?
Well, I got an unpopular opinion about Alan Wake. It was a yawn for me. I've tried it multiple times. I really don't care that Xbox sold it back to Remedy, to be perfectly honest with you, or gave the rights up. I mean, like, I've tried the game. I've played it. It's like, to me, like, I swear I played the game in like 2001, and it was called Luigi's Mansion. Like,
shots fired.
Seriously, like, it probably means that like Alan Wake is coming to the PlayStation, like a remaster or something like that. And eventually, I think Remedy will make an Alan Wake 2. I mean, they've talked about it. They like were saying like some of the elements that were in Quantum Break were gonna be like a build for Alan Wake 2, and it just didn't fit with the game. And same with, I think, the new game they got coming out, Control. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, it's Control. Yeah,
that started as like a build for Alan Wake 2, but it just didn't. It just didn't fit with what they wanted to do. I mean, like personally, I don't really care about an Alan Wake or an Alan Wake 2. It's an 18, 19-year-old game, and like, why all of a sudden is it a big deal? I just don't understand that. I mean, I'd rather have another Quantum Break 2 or, you know, or something like that. I think it's just nonsense. It's another one of those moments where in a fan base's eyes, Xbox does wrong again. You know what I mean? Like,
So this is the thing. It's the summer. There's nothing to play. People are bored.
To play. We get backlogs.
I'm not saying there's nothing to play. What I'm saying is that there's not a whole lot going on. This is the time where we dive into the backlogs. So when something like this happens, it gets elevated. There's not a whole lot of news. It's post E3, no game time yet. There's really nothing to really chew into. So something like this happens at this point in time, it's like, holy shit, let's amp this up. To be honest, ask yourself this in the chat. If you're watching live, if you're not in the chat, whatever the case may be, on Twitter, when the last time you had a conversation about Alan Wake? Or do you even know what Alan Wake was before you heard about the news? Ask yourself that question. If you have to think more than 3 seconds, you should probably stop. So that's all I'm saying, is because I feel the same way about it that you did, Stagger, because this is why I didn't really comment on it when the initial news dropped, because it's not like, when did we have these conversations about Alan Wake?
It showed up in my poll when I was trying to do I do Scare Stagger Saturday nights where I play games that might scare me, and a lot of people suggested that, and then a lot of other people are like, it's not really a scary game though, you know. And then there's, like I just mentioned in chat, it only sold 4.3 million copies in almost 20 years. So I mean, really, is it that big of a game?
And that was on PC and console. Yeah,
I mean, like, how is it that big of a deal when it? I mean, honestly, that's not a huge amount of sales. I mean, it's a lot of sales, but it's, you know, not. Go ahead. And
this is no slight to the game, because when I played the game initially, I thought the game was fantastic. It was kind of a niche game. It had a cult following at the time. You know, it didn't really catch on, and I thought the game was great. The concept was cool. Graphically at the time, it was beautiful. It was a really, really great looking game at the time when it came out. But this is the same. You guys are the same, not the same people, but we just gave Remedy all kind of shit about Quantum Break, about the game not being long enough, and the characters being boring, and the story not being interesting, and
I really
repetitive. I like the game too. I have it, but all I'm saying is that let's be honest with this. When we had that conversation about this game realistically being a remaster or us getting another one, on top of the fact that we know that Remedy's and Microsoft's relationship is well documented at this point. They don't really have much of one at all at this particular point. So I'm not surprised that they said, actually, if you look at Microsoft, that's a huge favor, because they didn't necessarily have to give them the IP. Now, I don't know the details. Somebody correct me in the comments, but I don't think that was something that they had to do. They weren't obligated to do that. Now, I don't know. Maybe you know better than I do. Stag, was that something that they had to do? Did something run out, or was it like a time frame or something?
Honestly, I don't know anything about it. Like, in that sense, I mean, I can look, but
all I know is Remedy owned the IP and Microsoft owned the publishing rights.
Okay, so they gave them the publishing rights to the IP, not the actual IP itself?
Yeah, Remedy has always owned the IP, but Microsoft has been accused of holding the IP ransom because they had all the publishing rights.
Got it. Okay, so there's some clarity now. We got a little bit of background on it. So I guess we can segue right into you, Centurion. I mean, you the guy with the information. You like a walking Reddit. So.
Remedy also got $2.8 million in a one-time royalty payment for its previously published games in the deal.
Oh, see? So, I mean, they got some cash as well. So it was a win-win for Remedy. I think that's huge. I mean, a lot of times that doesn't happen. You know, especially these larger companies aren't handing out these IPs that, you know, these companies want. Say, what was it? It was another game. I think it was, who was it? I can't remember. I'll think of it later, but we're going to segue to you, Centurion. What was your opinion about when the news broke, you know, the whole outrage about it? What did you think when you saw it?
I really didn't care personally, because I remember when I got my white Xbox One, the fat one, when they made them white back in the day, and it came with Quantum Break and a copy of Luigi Mansion Simulator. I mean, Alan Wake, my bad.
Oh, y'all killing me.
But no, I see Mojo Blues in the chat saying that he really wants a sequel. If you know, that's where, you know, I want fans to get their sequel, but at the same time, you know, I do have to say, like we talked about in the pre-chat, if Microsoft was to come out with a game like this right now, it would be definitely shoveled into the mediocre category like every other exclusive that they've done, purely because of the concept of running around with a flashlight hunting ghosts. Now that it looks like it might be somewhere else, all of a sudden that whole narrative is going to change, which is kind of why I shrugged it off. I was like, oh, you know, typical video game. It different one way than the other. But I did try the game out. I tried to get into it. I didn't really have very much fun with it, so I actually quit playing it. Now, I got sucked into Quantum Break. I couldn't put that game down until I finished it. I even watched the show. It was a really awesome game to me. But to point out what's going on with Remedy, for starters, you know, let's look at Phil Spencer. He's a very, very... You know, he's got a different way of handling business. He tries to be respectful in business, and Remedy has been beating this drum for a while about wanting to be more multi-plat, third-party developer. And so basically maybe this was Microsoft's send-off of, hey, you know, go tackle it, see what you can do. But at the same time, I look at it like, you know, when they make a game, it's Microsoft putting money in their pocket because they're helping them, you know, put out a game.
Yeah.
So did Microsoft make the decision of, you know what? I just don't feel comfortable with helping Remedy make money anymore. Let them do it on their own. I don't, you know, because let's look at what's going on with the game that they're putting out right now, Control. If you put the Xbox Deluxe version next to the PlayStation Deluxe version, the Xbox Deluxe Edition just looks like a normal standard edition game compared to the amount of content that is being put on PlayStation. So there's probably some discontent between the two companies for some reason.
Absolutely. It's documented.
Oh, yeah. So therefore, Microsoft might just be washing their hands of like, hey, you guys go do your thing, make money on your own. But when the sharks out there are eating you alive, don't come crawling back kind of thing.
It could be. It could be that. Now, I don't know if it's that deep from that standpoint where it's malicious. Like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and, you know, it's sink or swim. You want this? Here, catch it. Jump in the pool. You know, I don't know if it's that deep. But essentially, I'm just taking it back to we weren't talking about this game. Nobody was having a conversation about Alan Wake. Or even Remedy. Yeah. Like, or even Remedy at that point. Shit, Control was already getting ripped. I don't say ripped apart, but it was already kind of getting picked apart for looking like Quantum Break, kind of playing like Quantum Break, kind of a diet Quantum Break. Essentially,
I've heard people make jokes that it's Quantum Break 2, just with
pretty much. So
on it.
This whole idea that the entire community is outraged because this game could potentially be a exclusive on PlayStation or go multi-plat is completely, in my opinion, overblown. Now, once again, I refuse to tell anybody how they think. We all pay our own money for these games, and how you feel how you want to feel, and you make your own decisions. Do your research, please do. I always stress that. Do your research, but I am not going to be part of this ridiculousness. There's no way I'm going to sit up here and act like I'm outraged because we didn't get a damn, you know, Alan Wake 2. That's like me being mad that, like me being mad that we're not getting Shenmue. Like, get out of here. Like, how many people actually played Shenmue when it came out? It was a niche game. Like, these games aren't, that's, you know, and it's not even downplaying it, but let's just call a spade a spade. You know, it is what it is. So we're going to go ahead and pass this over to you, Fuzz. I know, I think you've played Alan Wake, or if you've seen it at least, but what is your opinion when the news came out? How do you feel about it?
I was kind of happy in the sense that, you know, for those that really wanted a sequel, now there's this chance that they'll see a sequel or maybe a remaster. I got it free when I bought Quantum Break. I haven't touched it. And I never planned on touching it. It was a 360 game. When I came to Xbox One and even with my PlayStation 4, I never really bothered with any of the previous generation games. There's a handful that I've gone back and played, like, you know, Saints Row 3 and, you know, like Street Fighter, because Street Fighter 5 has its own issues, but that's another story. But as far as the whole Alan Wake thing, I don't know. I looked at people get upset about it, and it's like, well, if you wanted a sequel, now there's more of a chance than zero chance with Microsoft holding on to the publishing rights.
Yeah.
I think about the last time people talked about Alan Wake, it was either, I can't remember if it was like a Games with Gold thing or if it was like getting ready to be delisted from the store because of music or something that's in it. And I think that was what, a year and a half ago or something. So
yeah, it was, man, it's been a while.
It's definitely been off the radar. Great, Remedy's got their, one of their titles back so they can publish it and do a remaster or do a Alan Wake 2. That's great. We want more games, so everybody should be happy. Applaud Remedy and applaud Microsoft for working with them on that. But beyond that, I don't really care much. It's almost like looking at like Control. I would like a Quantum Break 2. But the fact that they went and said, oh, we're going to just put all this extra content on the PS4, and it's like, all right, even if I put it on the PS4 Pro, it's not going to be quite the visuals that it would be on the X1X. So I guess I'll just wait until it's on Game Pass. I'm not going to pay for that one at this point. So I don't know. Remedy's going to be Remedy, and more power to them. Best of luck.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is the crazy thing is that like I don't understand why people aren't bringing up the fact that this is something that doesn't happen very often. How many of these studios actually get these IPs, these beloved IPs back from these larger studios, from these publishers? Like that doesn't happen very often. And for Microsoft to say, you know what, here you go, even paid them cash. Like you just read it, Stag. They got cash, $2.8 million as well in the deal. Like, come on now, that's a win-win. And if you're a fan of that game and you realistically want it, this is you should be excited. Because now you actually may have an opportunity to get another game or get another Alan Wake. So you should be happy. Don't slander one company because they did the right thing and gave away an IP that nobody was asking for. Like, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Let's not be ridiculous about it. But either way, once again, everybody's entitled to your opinions. This is what we do here on the Shop Podcast. We throw these topics out, man. We have fun and we talk about them. So once again, as you file in, say hello. What's up, Xbox Social? He just popped in. Say hello to everybody in the chat, man. Smack that like button. It does help the podcast be seen on a weekly basis. And once again, we're trying to get to 2K subs. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button, man. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic. And the next one is a poll of the week. So as I was moving this week, last weekend, I was debating on whether or not I should do a poll. I wasn't feeling very good on this past Monday. So I decided to do one anyway because I want to be consistent. And I threw a couple, little fun topic out there, nothing too crazy. So not a whole lot of people voted on it. I think I kind of snuck it in under the radar, so not a lot of people caught it. But the poll of the week was, how many new IPs do you think the new consoles need to launch with? So it's kind of vague, so I have to kind of break it down. Essentially what I'm saying is that just new IPs. We're not talking like reestablished or remade old IPs. I mean like a brand new IP, new studio and everything. So, and the options were 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 plus, or it doesn't matter. So 1 to 2 actually won the poll, 37%. 3 to 4 actually did 33%, and then doesn't matter was 22%. So wasn't really that surprising. I wanted to get you guys' opinion in the panel as well as chat on what do you guys think about that poll, or what do you guys think about that question in general, and how important are new IPs, especially to the launch of a new console. So we're gonna start with you again, Stag. What do you think, man? What do you think about that? Do you think it's important to have a couple different new IPs to kind of bring new people in, or would you what did you vote, and which one did you vote on?
I did vote, and then after I voted, I was like, damn it, I clicked the wrong button. But I voted 3 to 4, and my notes though, after thinking about it more, like 1 to 2. And as I'm sitting here listening to you, I also feel like it doesn't matter. I think all qualify equally, but here's what I'm going to go with: 1 to 2 new IPs with like 8 to 10 launch titles, because new IPs are fun and give us new worlds to explore. But I don't really think a system needs new IPs to sell. One reason: some people are going to buy their platform of choice regardless of what game launches with them. 2, I think a system needs to launch with new games, not remasters of old games. Pre-existing franchises, i.e. Halo, Forza. I'm using Xbox examples because I'm an Xbox guy. In PS5's case, more exclusive single-player games with dramatic cutscenes and lots of walking. 3, for me, a system needs to launch with a variety of games that hits multiple genres and are exciting to play. They don't all have to be a AAA title, but they do need to be good, fun games. And with both the PS5 and Xbox doing backward compatibility, if I'm not wrong, we will all have our backlogs to play out of the gate. So it's not like we're not going to have stuff to play. I don't necessarily think... I mean, we don't need a huge launch lineup for either of the systems going forward, but I think it would be good to have at least one or two new stories to tell for us to dive into, with maybe some new mechanics that, we've heard from both sides that with the new technology that it's going to change how we can play games. So I'm really curious to see if we do get some new IPs that showcase this new technology and can change how games are played.
Nice. Okay, cool. That's very, very interesting too, how you broke that down, man. So once again, I agree wholeheartedly. Variety is a spicy life, and I always thought that that's kind of what Microsoft's direction was, and that's why they take chances on things like Sea of Thieves, on things like, those kinds of games that aren't traditional games. They're kind of in a different space, but they work. Sometimes they don't work. Sometimes they do work, but you gotta try and do things and be innovative. So new IPs are great because once again, it's new. It gives us, kind of revitalizes the fan base that's been with that platform, as well as bring in new people because it gets something exciting to talk about, as well as older IPs because you want to feel like you're familiar, with the brand. So I agree wholeheartedly. Honestly, I don't vote on my own polls, but I probably would have picked probably 3 to 4 if I had to sit, really with a gun in my head, think about it. That's probably a decent amount. And we usually get, the Xbox One came out. Actually, you guys remember the Xbox One that launched with a ton of brand new IPs. There's a bunch of brand new games that came. It's probably 5 plus. I think the Xbox One launched with. I don't remember. I'd have to go back. But let's go ahead and bounce this over to you, Centurion. What do you think, man? I don't know if you voted on the poll, but out of the options, which one would you choose and why?
See, I'm torn between it doesn't matter and 1 to 2. Okay. I'm wanting to say 1 to 2, but then I got to think about it. You're saying new IPs. In other words, something that's never been seen before.
Yeah.
Because originally when I read it and voted for it, I was thinking like, oh yeah, they need something like Halo and another game to really get people out there to want to buy the console. But new IPs, yeah, I want to say they should probably try to have 1 or 2. But if we really think about it, everybody's going to be talking about Halo, at least on the Xbox side of things. But if we look at PlayStation, wasn't Knack like a IP that they came out with to launch the PlayStation, and that actually kind of got some success behind it. It even got a sequel. So I would definitely, I'm probably leaning more towards the 1 to 2 versus the it doesn't matter, purely because it would be great if they came out with some new IPs. But then at the same time, I do get worried about some of the lack of new IPs that have already not come out this generation. So I wouldn't hold my breath on it. I'm pretty sure they might be banking on trying to reestablish franchises for the next generation and bring them forward into the future with new concepts and new storylines to those franchises.
Okay, cool. Awesome, man. That's once again, man, I think we all kind of along the same here. You got to have that balance. You got to balance things out. Little something new, little something old, man. So Fuzz, we're going to go ahead and throw this over to you. And once again, everybody, before he says anything, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. There's 22 people in here, man. Let's go ahead and get that hype up, man. The chat is going great. We appreciate your energy. This is why we do this for you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Like I said, we missed last week, so we definitely try and bring the energy this week for sure. So it's on you now, Fuzz. Floor is yours, man. What are those options, man?
Well, I voted for new IP doesn't matter at a launch, and the only reason why I say that is as long as you have established IPs that are brand new, as far as instead of doing like a remaster or something like that, I think that's a strong enough draw. But the key thing is they have to leverage the new hardware. So if it's going to be either more AI on screen or smarter AI or better visuals, something along those lines, that better be baked into that launch of that updated title. But as far as new IPs, the only thing I always have a fear about with new IPs is it's kind of that unknown. Yeah, it's great to have that new experience, but sometimes it doesn't land just right. Like, perfect example with this generation, Watch Dogs. Even though that's not a first party, Watch Dogs was a new IP, great in concept, great in E3 showings, and then when we get it on console, it didn't quite look like we thought it would look, and it didn't quite play like we expected it to play. So,
but somehow it's gotten 3 titles.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just one of those weird things that sometimes new IPs, it's a home run. Sometimes ones that should be a home run kind of get ignored. Sunset Overdrive, or Rise for that matter. So it's like
gut punch right there, Fuzz.
So new IPs are great, but I hate looking back at my experience with PlayStation Drive Club, great in concept, stumbled out of the gate with its launch, and they just didn't. That studio wasn't prepared. When it comes to on Xbox's side, great IPs. The numbers didn't, I guess, meet what they were hoping they were, so they're kind of in limbo, never to be seen again type of thing, or at least that's how it feels. So it's like I rather have them focus on reimaginings of existing IPs, knock them out of the park, have a good handful of them, at least I would say on the bare minimum, especially if you're relying on third-party support, at least have 2 of your main IPs or your 2 tent poles at least, fully ready to go out the door once that console hits the shelf. But in a grand scheme of things, I would say 4 IP or 4 of your existing IPs would at launch would probably be a good idea, at least for that first year. That would be the way to hit it out the gate, and make sure you have as many third-party new titles coming out where they use that hardware or that new tech, so that way the AI or the visuals or whatever it is is right on point.
Nice. Okay, cool. So it looks like we pretty much all on the same page about that particular topic, man. So once again, we just warming up, man. First 2 topics in, man. Show is on fire, chat is on fire. Appreciate the love, support down in the chat. Once again, hit that like button, man. So this next generation is gonna be interesting to kind of piggyback off that too, Fuzz, because one thing we don't know, once again, how many new IPs are we getting? We do know some of the IPs, kind of on both sides of the fence. They've been throwing around, there's general rumors out there, as well as some of the things we've already seen at E3. There are some things we expect as well. We may or may not get them, but we definitely are expecting them. So we'll see what happens, man. We got one more E3 before these new consoles drop, presumably. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what plays out once they're on that timetable. Okay, these consoles are coming out now. We have to put our best foot forward now. So it's gonna be very, very interesting to see. So let's go ahead and bounce over to the next topic. So this is another one, kind of a segue off of the Alan Wake 2 thing, because it kind of came along with it. So as people talked about Alan Wake 2 and the whole back and forth, what's going on with the community on Xbox, people started to kind of question the direction of Xbox, namely Phil Spencer and his decision making ability going forward with the brand, essentially. So once again, I've been on the record. I do not know how they run a $1 billion company. I'm not giving him an excuse. I am just telling the truth. I don't know what the fuck goes on at a $1 billion company. So I know there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people up and down the chain that are responsible for the entirety and totality of the brand. I know he's essentially the top guy within that company, but I mean, he does sit on the board. He has a boss. So there are things that need to balance out. Now, Phil, we know what happened. I don't know why people act like we don't know that this console had to hit the e-brake about 2 years in and go a completely different direction. That's never happened before. Maybe was it Sega did it with the Sega CD, I think, where they had to kind of and then do something completely different. I don't know if that's a good comparison, but anyway, going back to Phil, that's never happened before. This man was handed the keys. They handed him a water hose. The house was on fire. They're like, here's a bucket of water. Do what you can do, Phil. I mean, I'm sorry. We did what we can do. So I want to start with you, Fuzz, on this one, because I know me and you have talked about this explicitly. So what do you think as far as, the criticism of Phil, whether it's due or not due, or warranted or not warranted? What do you think about the totality and the direction of Xbox at this point?
I'm pretty pleased with it. I mean, coming from being a PlayStation guy primarily first, and then, after, like I said, the initial launch of the PS4, switching over to Xbox, I'm pretty pleased with the direction that they're going. Now, is there every decision that he's made a home run? No, but that's going to be a case with any brand that you look at out there. The biggest thing now that I guess more people want him to be vocal on social media about, well, Sony said something in the Wall Street Journal about, they're for the hardcore. Of course, the hardcore, us being on Twitter and on other forms of social media, we're probably the vocal minority considering how many people buy the consoles.
Absolutely.
You could probably count on, well, I won't say on both hands how many people are on Twitter, but it's like in comparison, it's kind of along those lines. he doesn't have to come on social media and say anything more about the brand. They already did everything that they can, at least for the interim right now, by buying studios, making that new hardware, working on the next new hardware. Now it's just time for those studios to hit pay dirt and start releasing titles, which is going to happen here soon. We have Bleeding Edge coming out. What is it, in like 6 months or so? We got Gears 5 coming out. We have Outer Worlds. Yes, I understand it's multi-plat, but it's still part of their studio, one of those things that was in the oven type of deal. But if they can start hitting on all cylinders where one of their studios is releasing a new game every quarter or some sort of update, DLC or expansion or something along those lines, I think that's all we can really ask of. It's just, well, not really ask, but that's what we, need to, focus on at that point. And then once those things are hitting on all cylinders, then evaluate the games for what they are. Are they what we've been asking for? Are they fun to play? Are they, memorable? Are there something that we want to go back and play again or look forward to a sequel? I think once that, hits, that's all that there is to it. I don't think that there's any need to, chop his head off and start anew, put somebody else in his spot. He's basically, I would say in so many words, saved Xbox, because the way it was looking shortly after 2013, I mean, sure, I was happy with the games that were out at that point, but I didn't think I was going to see a Forza Horizon 4 or a Motorsport 7. I thought it was going to be like, oh, Xbox is up for sale, and, that's it, type of thing. So pretty happy with my X1X. Looking forward to Scarlet or Anaconda or whatever that next iteration on the X1X would be, and go from there.
You know what the crazy thing is about, too? I just thought about this. People want Phil to be Steve Ballmer. Like, what are you, like, you guys need to relax. Like, he's not that kind of a guy. Like, he's not going to get on Twitter and say, fuck Sony, you guys are lying. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, he's not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? He has a company to run. And when you look at the totality and how everything is lined up, I mean, the company has had to jump over some huge hurdles, man. And a lot of them are self-inflicted. Yeah. And they've had to kind of deal with that. And you have to deal with that before you make progress. And you're gonna take a few steps back. Not like Fuzz said, not everything is gonna hit pay dirt. You got to be realistic. You're gonna take some losses along the way, but you learn from your losses. And I feel like that they've done that. If you make a list and say, okay, what are they missing? What have they done? I think the list as far as what they've done is going to be a lot longer, in my opinion. So I'm not giving them excuses once again. I think there are some things that they can work on. Marketing is a huge one. They don't do that very well, and we've been very critical since day one. Fuzzy, I know you've been on the show, you've been watching the show. Stag, I'm sure you too, Centurion. We've been very critical about the way they market these games or lack of marketing. So I'm not giving them a pass in that regard, but they've had to jump over some hurdles that these other companies have never ever experienced before, man. That the way they got it, I don't think people understand how bad of a start that really was. Like, I don't think on a corporate level, and we're not talking numbers or anything, but on a large scale level, that was as bad as it gets. Yeah. That was as bad as it gets for a launch console. That was as bad as it gets. So let's go ahead and bounce this over to you, not Fuzz, but you, Stagger. What do you think? I mean, I know you got a novel written over there. You took some notes, but what do you think, man?
Y'all jealous of my notes. They suck anyways, but I don't know. I mean, like, I've been happy with Xbox ever since I picked one up. I mean, I'm going to go back a little bit here before I go forward, but I was against, I've said it before, I was dead set against Microsoft being in the gaming industry. I didn't adopt for a while. I had a GameCube, and then I got an Xbox, and I've never looked back, and I've been happy ever since. I mean, I had a PS3, it collected dust. I've had other Nintendos, and like I just let my kids play them, and I have a PS4 now, and I just moved it back downstairs to the living room for the kids to play it. So I'm obviously happy on my Xbox, and I'm obviously happy with the supposed lack of games to play. But I feel like Xbox and Phil, they've listened to gamers, they've reacted to the market, the asked, the critics, but they're always going to get shit on by a vocal minority of clickbaity YouTuber fanboys and overcritical console warriors. For me, it's about the gaming, the fun of games, where the better community for co-op and multiplayer games live, to be honest and fair, is on the Xbox for me. Sony does great at like first-person narrative games. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I mean, like, I don't want long movies in the middle of my game. I want to play fun stuff, And I feel like Xbox is committed not just with like AAA titles or AA titles, but a big part of what I do gaming wise is indie titles. And they've really pushed a lot of indies, even from the 360 time when they had, I can't remember what it was called, but they had their indie program, you know, and they have the creators program and all that.
Idea. Oh, you said 360. That was
360.
Like the arcade, right? The arcade.
Yeah, I mean, they had something else too. Yeah. But like what I need for me though is fun games with expansive worlds that actually explore, missions to do, things to shoot. I mean, I kind of got sidetracked, but I think they're on the right track. I mean, gamers will be happy going forward if we're not already happy. Like, I feel like people who own Xbox, I mean, yeah, you see some Xbox guys that are like, oh, I want more of this and more of that and more AAA titles. And again, that leads me back to stop just looking at AAA titles. There is a ton of games and a wealth of fun to be had in ID at Xbox, just like Black Rider said. It's amazing. There is so many good games. Sure, they're not like the best graphics or, you know, long expansive titles, but you're gonna have fun. I have not been disappointed with the Xbox as a brand or a platform the entire time I've been here. I was a little bit when they came out with, you know, what they said about Xbox One before it launched, that stuff was a little concerning, not being able to play used games, being online all the time, or all this other shit that didn't end up happening because we all freaked out and we're like, no. But like, I feel with like, especially with like the studio acquisitions, like I said, they've listened, they've learned from their mistakes, and they want to take over the crown. You know, and they're making those moves, and it's going to be hard to overcome Sony because they just have a huge install base, and they have a huge amount of people that are just going to buy that console because name recognition, you know, and that's fine. I mean, I know Xbox is bigger on the name recognition as a brand, but Sony's been on top for a long ass time, you know, and I just feel it's time. I mean, granted, 360 did great, but it's time for new king.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, thinking about it, when you come from that standpoint, as far as like brand recognition, so I mean, Sony puts out great games. we're not here to discredit Sony and what they do. What Sony does well, they do it extremely well. So kudos to Sony and everything they're doing over there. They do cater to their fan base, and they generally give their player base what they want for the most part. So we got to stop looking at one company to give us what the other company is supposed to give us. Like, this is what I said coming out of E3. People had to stop looking at that E3 like, okay, you guys have to make up for Sony not being here. Stop doing that. Like, that's completely unfair. Like, I don't go to Target saying, oh man, you know, the ambiance is so much nicer. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm here to get some lotion and I'm out. I'm not even thinking that hard. Like, get out of here. So it's ridiculous. So I mean, we can sit up here and kind of nitpick and fine tooth comb all of this. Where that company started from back in 2013, I think people forget. It was fucking. I mean, it was. I mean, them Twitter streets was crazy back then, man. They was getting roasted out there like crazy, man. It was tough, and they've come a long way. And Phil is a spearhead of that, man. You got to give the man credit for that. But you know, it's just crazy to see how divided the community can be in that regard. One day for the next, 1 week to the next. You know, it's really fickle, man. And that just reminds me that gamers in whole are just fickle as hell. It's got to be the most fickle bunch, man, ever, as far as an entertainment medium. We want one thing 1 week, and next week we cold, next week we hot. We just don't know. So we go ahead and let you elaborate on this, Centurion, about what do you think about, Phil, the direction of Xbox, the way everything is going. Are you happy with it?
I'm happy with it. To kind of not be a plethora of useless information, but you were talking about in the beginning of the generation, you know, some of the icebergs that Xbox kind of hit and was taking on water. For starters, you had Don Matrick, who was trying to turn
that name is banned from this podcast.
Donnie D. I don't know how we got called Donnie D, even though it's Don Matrick, but we'll not get into that. But he tried turning the Xbox into an entertainment-based platform, and we all saw the major flop that was going to be. Like, I mean, when his original grand idea for the platform was Xbox was going to make television shows and all this other stuff, and next thing you know, we're just going to be watching TV on Xbox. For whatever reason, he had this really crazy dream. And then on top of that, at that same time, you had Paul Allen, who was one of the co-founders of Microsoft, demanding that the Xbox platform be sold off. And they actually looked into selling the Xbox platform off. And that's when Nadella, the guy who is the CEO of Microsoft, kind of came out and told everybody that we're not going to sell the Xbox platform. It's worth more than you think it is. And shortly thereafter, both of those individuals kind of stopped working for the company. And that's how Phil Spencer got into the role that he's in today. And as soon as he got into that role, he righted the ship. He got rid of the idea of it being an entertainment-based console and went for graphic power, and we all got the Xbox One X. And he also redesigned the original Xbox into the Xbox One S. And so even though he is probably one of the most respectful and what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say timid, but he's definitely not
level-headed too.
Very level-headed. For some reason, everybody wants him to be like Vince McMahon, just going around choking the life out of all these companies. But you know, it's just like let's use Vince McMahon as an example. We all see the instability of the WWE, and we also see that there's no competition around him, so they have a very lackluster product as a result of choking out their competition. Phil Spencer understands the idea of competition very well. He understands competition helps you grow. It helps create innovation in the market. And so Phil Spencer has, in my opinion, shown what it's like to be a respectful business leader. He has gotten this far already without having to choke other people out and stomp on them and basically run the little guys down. So I'm happy with the direction they're going. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure it's not as fast as some people want, but I like, if you look at the diversity that Xbox has with their games, especially with their first party studios, the diversity in being, you know, you have Crackdown 3, which is a run around shooter. You have State of Decay 2, which is a survival horror game. You have Halo, which is a sci-fi first person shooter. You know, you have all these first party titles that are actually no way and related to each other. But if we look at PlayStation over here, it's like they have a set standard of guidelines. Third person, over the shoulder. It needs to have like boxes. It needs to have like the same mechanics that people like in almost all of their cookie cutter titles. Don't get me wrong. PlayStation has made some of the best first player experiences this generation, hands down.
Absolutely.
But how you see how ADD the internet already is. What happens when that whole stigma wears off? Yeah. So definitely, Phil Spencer has allowed his first party studios to kind of go outside the mold and try new things and see what works.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that was heavily criticized, because we've all had that conversation, have had that discussion about why doesn't, 343 do something different? Why doesn't, Coalition do something different? He's really gone out and tried to, get the studios, have other studios to do other things. He really wants a consistent product. Why do you guys think that he's not letting 343 go out and do something completely different? Look at Call of Duty. Look at the rotation they've been rolling with the last 7-8 years. How many times we complain about the quality of the game being completely different every year? Imagine that being Halo. What kind of discussion would we be having if that was Halo? If we had 343 doing Halo one year, Coalition doing Halo the next year, 2 years later we got Rare doing Halo. Like, imagine that. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, think about that idea. You need a consistent product, especially when it's a tentpole. I can't have fucking Uncharted being different 3 years in a row, or every 2 or 3 years. Like, that'd be ridiculous. That's a terrible business idea. And then would you guys agree? I do want to bring this up. The one thing I am critical about extremely is the marketing. Would you guys agree that that's the biggest point of, like, not concern, but the biggest point of growth that Xbox could have? Would that be something you guys could agree with? The marketing of these games?
That and naming stuff. Like, somebody really needs to have either access to a better focus group or just go into an echo. Yeah, exactly. It's like
you can do that. They can pay you to just walk and slap people in the office.
Fucking watermelon them.
Yeah. Isn't some of these focus groups in areas where weed's legal? So maybe they need to start before they come up with some of these ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Fuzz.
No, but it just seems like whether it's naming a new product or just where they target the ads. Like, okay, I had this like little debate with Tim on Twitter about this, and it's like sometimes bad data drives market decisions. So if you have data showing that less and less people are watching TV, well, you can't really do TV commercials. the next closest thing is then YouTube. But then they fall asleep at the wheel on YouTube because it seems like even an Xbox centric channel will wind up having PlayStation ads in front or at the end of the video. So it's like either Sony is throwing more money or Xbox is just not throwing any money, and Sony just wins by default at that point. But it just seems like a company that's so big and prominent in software and hardware and other fields, whether it be computers, servers, and so forth, that they would understand, hey, we probably should put a little bit more oomph, or take that same oomph or emphasis that we put into the other markets and put it to our gaming division and see where it goes. Just do a 6-month test. See if, I don't know if they want to paint a train in the New York subway system or something, but just try some of those things or certain things along those lines. Like they've had some YouTube video commercials that were well received, and then it was like they kind of forgot to do any more. It was like, okay, yeah, jump in, and then people were like, oh yeah, that's great, that's good, and it shows a highlight of games, and then it went nowhere from there. It's like,
my favorite was the Destiny cologne. You guys remember that?
Oh, what?
You don't remember that? Because they couldn't market Destiny. They couldn't market it, so they put out an ad for Destiny cologne.
Wow. Hey, now, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
One thing that I've been thinking really hard about, like kind of what has kind of probably swung this generation, is something that we haven't really probably thought too hard about, or at least I didn't until the other day. The idea of lobbying. If you look at the presidential election, they go out and they lobby. If you look at the Academy Awards, when you want to get your actor nominated for an award, you go out there and lobby for him, and you go after the people that vote on those awards. Like they even have talked about how they'll buy them dinner and they'll send them Rolexes, and they'll send them just to kind of get their name in the back of their head for when they're voting. They'll be like, oh, I like that guy, I'm going to vote for him. I feel like PlayStation has probably done a much better job of lobbying when it comes to the media, YouTube, social networking. Basically, they're out there, because if you listen to a lot of the reviewers, they all got PlayStations, and I'm pretty sure they didn't go out and buy them. And I'm not talking the low ones. I'm talking like big gaming media. I'm pretty sure PlayStation was like, hey, you guys want a PlayStation to do game reviews on? Oh, sure. Yeah, here you go. Here's one for free. I just see PlayStation out there lobbying and getting in everybody's pocket. And, people could call it media biasness, but that's actually what the whole premise of it is you're actually controlling the media perception by actually making yourself look like a great guy to the media. So therefore they're going to uplift you. So it's all about, that public image that you can definitely buy.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to piggyback on that. They've kind of done that, but they did that with the Surface line. Like, although it didn't go the first year they did with the NFL, because people were ready to throw those things out the window. But eventually they got everything in check where everything was working just as originally planned. But they lobby heavily when it comes to like a lot of these tech companies and things like that, or tech media companies and such, with giving out Surfaces like they were candy. But
yeah,
Xbox, no, that's it's a couple $100. They should be able to buy it. No, but we'll give away a $1,100 or $2,100, Surface tablet or Surface Pro and stuff like that. So sometimes it seems like one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing over there, but it just seems like they kind of forget some of those same energetic approaches on marketing need to expand to the gaming division too.
Got it. So the marketing thing, we can go on and on about this. We could go through it with the fine tooth comb, but just something I definitely noticed. Once again, you can feel either type of way about it. I don't want to dive too deep on it, So let's go ahead and move on with another topic, man. The energy in the chat, man. Everybody's going crazy. Everybody has definitely a lot to say about that particular aspect of gaming and just Xbox in general. So let's keep it up, guys. Once again, smack the like button on your way in, man. Appreciate the consistent support you guys have been giving us every single week on the videos, man. But let's go ahead and for the last topic, I got a really, really fun one. This is fucking hilarious, guys. You guys are gonna love this. I'm sure you guys have already heard about it, but so the best company in the world as far as the gaming, EA, decided that it was a good idea to kind of sugarcoat this whole loot box thing. Loot boxes has gotten to the point to where the politicians are looking at it. Like it's in Supreme Court. Like they're deliberating on is this gambling or not. It's gotten to that point. And EA has the mitigated gall, the nerve to say, oh well, no, it's not. I mean, we don't look at them that way here at EA. No, it's just there's just surprise mechanics. So I thought that was kind of cute. Thought it was fun. Thought it was funny. So we're definitely gonna go ahead and talk about this. And chat, I know you guys have a lot to say about this whole surprise mechanics thing. This is ridiculous. This is unprecedented. Have we ever seen a company try to finesse us so like right in our face? EA's done it before. This is not new to EA. They've done it before. So we're gonna start with you, Stagger, because I feel like you kind of spilling over. You got a lot to say about this, man. So what do you think about those surprise mechanics, Stag?
EA being EA. I mean, it's a bullshit way of describing pay-to-win loot boxes. I don't mind cosmetic boxes like buying your character a shirt or a dance move or a gun skin, which I also think is just dumb as all hell. But I don't like the ones that make it easier and faster for you to level up or be stronger. Or I think those are BS. Personally, I miss the good old days of like Halo 2 where I know I fall back on Halo 2 a lot when we talk about shit like this, but like when we all had the same stuff, you started at a point and you had these guns, you didn't even have skills. You could jump and you could fucking shoot, but like we all had the same stuff. Your skill was your skill at the game was how you proved you were better. You didn't buy your way to have better armor, stronger guns, a gun that could shoot more ammo in a second. It wasn't a matter of like how much are you willing to spend to get better. And I personally think they're a predatory practice for people young and old, as it feeds the younger's desire to be cooler, better, faster, and it feeds like an older market's gambling triggers and the desire to be better now rather than actually getting good. I think they ruin the experience for gamers who are unwilling to pay to rank up, as they, in my opinion, unfairly imbalance gaming to enhance people who pay to upgrade. I mean, EA is not the only culprit at this,
or
the worst, but they sure will go to the furthest depths to protect their money-making schemes. The argument of they need these to make money is bullshit. I mean, one, how did they make money before loot boxes? I mean, surprise mechanics? Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, like, and we were talking about marketing in chat and earlier in here, but like, these companies are like, oh, we need these loot boxes to make money. Well, stop spending so much money on celebrities in your commercials or cardboard cutouts at GameStop or stores or handing out free bullshit that nobody really needs. And 3 CEO bonuses. Like, I mean, really? Pay your fucking goddamn programmers better than doing that. And 4, make complete good quality games that are fun, not broken upon release. Maybe people will trust you more and buy your products, and you'll make more money if you release a game, Anthem, that isn't broken.
Oh, that hurt.
I mean, loot boxes and pay to win is trash. Consumers can solve this problem by not buying them, but we know that's not going to happen. We know, and so that's the thing, though. Like, if they keep doing this, and we already see it happening, even if the government regulates loot boxes and surprise mechanics, the industry is just going to find another way to monetize our games. They just will.
So I want to piggyback off this though. I'm sorry to cut you off.
I ran it. I got.
No, I get it. So I want to piggyback off this because this is interesting because you also have another side of the fence. There are types of games like free to plays where this is part of the original business model to make money because you're not making money off releasing the game. Nobody's buying it or purchasing it.
More cosmetics, aren't they?
Well, I mean, look at Warframe. It's been successful with that free, the free to play model, and it has a ton of shit you can purchase. You don't even have to fucking be actually good at it. But nobody complains about Warframe. So there are games. I mean, there are games that for whatever reason it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if it's just because of the free to play model, but have you ever heard anybody complain that you can literally get on Warframe if you had $100, you could buy the best gear, the best gun right away. You don't have to wait, no nothing.
Warframe PvE or PvP?
I've always played PvE, so
it's both. It has multiplayer as well, not nearly as popular as the PvE.
Always played AI.
Yeah, it has both. So all I'm saying is that it works in some spaces. So there's a unique argument there for loot boxes, things like that on certain types of games. So we go ahead and bounce this over to you, Fuzz. See, what's your opinion on the surprise mechanics? I know we're kind of fucking slandering you, jumping on EA's ass. But Zach is right. There's a lot of other companies that do this as well. It's just funny that EA of all companies had the audacity to try and spin this as something positive. You know, it's like, you know, running over my foot and saying, I was just trying to clean your shoe off. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you ran over my foot. Like, it's not the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's not dog poop. It's fragrant waste. You know, I don't understand why I mean, I understand why EA is defending their approach on this whole surprise mechanics, but I'm just surprised now that, and I'm not a fan of government intervention or stepping in, but
yeah,
I'm actually surprised they haven't done something sooner. I mean, is all this talk about violent video games lead to violent children, which no, it doesn't, but that's another story. But in any event, you would think that something like this, where unless these, you know, senators or politicians are getting money from EA, because, you know, lobbyists will, you know, lean towards certain campaigns to, you know, help funding. Yeah, so that might be another reason why they haven't stepped in sooner. But it just, it feels bad when they have to try to reword it into something that's a little more pleasant or a little less, you know, scrupulous or something like that. It just, I don't know. EA, I'm even the vocal minority of us, like hardcore gamers, that, oh, we'll never buy another Battlefront. And it's like, we say that, and oh, they only sold 1 million less copies than expected. It's like, we're not doing it right. There's something's got to give. They're going to keep on doing it, like Stagger said. Nothing's going to change until, you know, we either stop buying their product or just somebody comes up with a better mousetrap, I guess. I'm waiting for somebody to do.
I mean, there have been some significant strides, because Battlefront did a 180, you know, on that whole loot. They had to. The backlash was so crazy, they didn't have a choice but to flip the script on that. But it had damaged the game so much that nobody cared at that point.
True.
I feel Disney was behind all that, though.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people say that was Disney's fault as well. That's true. That's a good point. I didn't bring that up. But go ahead.
I meant that Disney made EA clean it up.
Oh, you meant the reversing of the whole situation. Okay, cool. No, that may be the case. I don't want to cut you off, Fuzz. Go ahead and finish your point, brother.
No, but it just seems like at this point, EA is going, like Stagger said, EA is going to be EA. So it's just something that we have to either deal with or move on, type of thing. And you know, I'm curious to see how the new Jedi game is going to be possibly marred with loot boxes or surprise mechanics. Hopefully not, but I kind of expect them to be in there. And you know, it'd be nice if there's a Titanfall 3, but of course there'll be some surprise mechanics in that. Like, oh, the surprise mechanic is you have to pay extra for an online multiplayer. What? Get out of here. But yeah, it just, we as gamers, let's unite and stand up against this. But I say that, and I know deep down that it's like only about 0.1% of us will, boycott a game. I mean, Anthem right now, I had so much hope for that, dude, so much potential, and it's like, how can EA, or actually, I don't even know if it's fully EA's fault, because it seems like BioWare's got own stubborn issues. That
it almost feels like they bit off more than they could chew.
Yeah, definitely. But,
definitely.
Yeah, I people are going to continue to buy until it becomes illegal to have surprise mechanics in a game. It's going to continue to sell, and when it doesn't sell, they'll figure out another model, or they'll just raise prices, which they'll complain and say, "Oh, well, the tariffs made us adjust the software to match the pricing of the hardware," or so, I don't know. Just it's sad.
Terrible. So let's get your opinion, Centurion. We're gonna once again, guys, we're gonna be taking some questions here. We're gonna go a little bit over, probably 5-10 minutes over. But I want to go to Centurion's opinion on this particular last topic here. What do you think about the EA surprise mechanics? Your whole stance on it?
I chuckled when I originally saw the article, because I don't know what I'm gonna do the day, because the word loot box is basically becoming a 4-letter word at this point. And so I don't know the day I'm gonna go on and see what they like. Hey, you want to pay $5 for a surprise box? A surprise box? What the hell? But no, but I don't know. Maybe EA is kind of trying to learn from some of their mistakes, because shortly after this whole trying to change the word of the idea of loot box into surprise mechanics. IGN came out and put an article up on June 24th saying that the EA executives actually gave up their performance bonuses for 2019 as a result of what's going on with Anthem and the other games. And then a few days later, they got another article through IGN that popped up that in the title says EA struggles with the perception that we're just a bunch of bad guys. Well, yeah. The guy with marketing starts talking about how like the brand of EA, he acknowledges that the EA brand is definitely tarnished and people see them as greedy loot box mongers. And I'm not a big fan of the idea of surprise mechanics. Like, I should know what I'm buying. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but the last time I played Rainbow Six has loot bags. Same idea. It's a loot box. But the fun part is you don't need to buy into these little loot boxes. You can go buy the in-game currency with your own money and get the items you want. And at that point, the loot boxes that you earn for free are just, you know, kind of like gimmies, you know, stuff you didn't want. You might get something cool, but it's not like you were hoping for something because you can go out and get what you want. Because I could see like, forgive me, I don't play these games, but I believe it's like in FIFA or something. You have like a legendary team. Yeah,
the My Team, the card packs, that shit's gotten crazy.
Yeah,
it's got ridiculous in those sports games. 2K as well.
I guess to get certain really high value characters, you got to literally pull the slot machine numerous times, spending hundreds of dollars just to get a character that can make your team, you know, give your team an advantage in playing. So yeah, definitely when it affects gameplay. Like, I remember I was one of the people that stood in line for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Me and my friend, we were ready to go home and play that game. We have lives. We had to work. So about 3 days later after the game came out, we're trying to play online, and there's people that literally spent $200-300 on all these packs, and they've maxed out all their characters. And at this point, they're running around as Boba Fett, completely invincible.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And so yeah, when it affected that game, like another time they did it was actually the original Battlefront. When you pre-ordered the game, you got a special edition blaster, like it was a Han Solo blaster that was completely overpowered, and that was for people who pre-ordered the game, and they ended up having to like nerf that thing or something just because people were just using it ruthlessly and nobody could get it. There was no way to buy it. There was no way to earn it. It was a pre-order bonus.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's just go ahead and finish your thought.
I was just not really. I'm kind of like Stagger on this, you know. I have no problem with them implementing fair ways to make money, because we all understand that these companies have to make money. Yeah. But when you see the kind of money that EA is making, like they said they made $1 billion off of microtransactions alone in the FIFA franchise. That's insane.
They're not losing money.
Yeah, they're not losing money, but that's where it just comes down to, you know, if you're making this kind of money, I don't want to hear for a second that you got a developer somewhere making $15 an hour. Because that's actually pretty relevant. Like if you watch some of the articles that are coming out of Orange County, California, some of these developers down there in California, they're literally making pretty much state minimum wage designing games that these companies make millions off of.
Crazy. Insane. It's insane, man. That's a tough topic, man. There's so much that goes into that. So many variables that go into that particular topic, and it's such a point of pain for a lot of people. And I don't know, like we've all said here on the panel chat, I don't know if this thing will ever really balance out, because it's called capitalism. It's called money. Anytime there's red tape, there's other intentions involved. There's politics. You always gonna have an imbalance there. So you know, it's just part of gaming, man. You know, just got to kind of deal with it, do the best we can. Hopefully, these companies learn from what they're doing and try to find other creative ways to give us these great experiences without trying to hamper or, you know, make things, you know, ridiculously lopsided in any one person's favor. So, great topic, man. But we are
like EA, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I just wanted to say it looks like EA is one of the only companies that's still trying to beat this loot box drum. If we look at like Gears of War, they got rid of it. It looks like a lot of these companies are treating loot boxes as the way of the dodo bird. It's going to die out because it's very controversial, and for some reason, EA is holding on to that.
Yeah, it's just EA. It's EA. I mean, come on now. Like, let's be honest, man. They gave us the same Madden 20 years in a row. Come on now. Like, what the fuck? I mean, if they can do that and get away, that's highway robbery. That's the slickest finesse in history. You know what I'm saying? You take something out the game and then put a new sticker on it and say, look at the new Madden. And you put that same feature back next year and say, look at the new Madden. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's a crazy finesse. But either way, guys, that was a great topic, man. That's something that we could be talking about for another whole hour. So we can go ahead and take some questions. Throw your questions in the chat right now. Once again, we're going to take probably 2 questions if we got time for it. I don't want to run too long on the show. But we already got one for the Mod of the Year shown to, man. Appreciate you, brother. Always in here every week, making sure the chat is clean, keeping everybody going. Appreciate you so much, brother. He said, fun question. What gaming world would you like to take a week's vacation in? What gaming world would you like to take a week's vacation in? I don't know too many that I can think of that I would survive very long. In all reality. So I'm gonna let y'all start with this one. We're gonna start with you, Fuzz. Because I feel like Forza does not count.
Well, originally I was saying like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, just because like the trees, the jungle, the high elevations, all that stuff. It's a beautiful scenery, bro. But yeah, exactly. Like I gotta look out for a jaguar or something like that jumping out of a tree. But yeah, I would say like GTA, just because it's such a varied area. And we're talking story mode, not online, because some knucklehead will pick up the Harrier and ram it into a building, or a rocket launcher, or from like the top of the building or something. But yeah, you could relax in GTA story mode, but Forza would be nice, but you say it doesn't count. But the 4 seasons, man, 4 seasons, true. And
now I'm just giving you a hard time. You can do Forza. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, Forza Horizon 4 with the seasonal changes, because such a wide map that just drive all around. That's fun for me.
Yeah. Oh no, I know that's right up your alley. So Stag, I'm very interested to see what Stag has to say. What video game world would you live in, Stag?
I was gonna originally say Beautiful Katamari, because it would be kind of fun to do some fucked up shit like that. But I'm going with the titties in Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball.
Hey, see,
Island, you get to play beach volleyball all day, and the boob physics are fucking amazing.
Unmatched to this day.
And they're all oily and they're all polite and shit. Volleyball all day.
Hey, that's not. I mean, hey, look. I mean, if you're listening, ladies, hey, we appreciate you guys. Do not look at us any different, but we gotta be honest.
I mean,
we gotta be honest.
We've all played Dead or Alive fighting games, and I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a reason why.
Oh yeah, they're sponsored by Jello.
Fighting game, I mean, shit. I play Saints Row, and I make a female character, and booby physics that shit up because it's hilarious.
Too much. But yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't even thought of Dead or Alive. So I guess I'll go next. Oh man, shit. What? I mean, what world? GTA would be very, very interesting. To live in that kind of, like you said, it's kind of realistic. It's kind of like living in the normal world. But besides all the reckless shit you can do and get away with it, I mean, literally kill everybody in the town, walk inside a hospital, come out, everybody forgets that you killed everybody. So, yeah, it's just crazy. But either way, what would be interesting?
The strip club too. Yeah.
Oh, there's that. But what would be interesting, but it's extremely dangerous, but it's an extremely peaceful game. Fucking Minecraft. Because thinking about it, you could do whatever you want. You could build whatever you want. You have all these cool little things, but like all of the random shit that could happen to you, just going to do something on the way to get some water, you get blown up or something. Like, it's ridiculous. So I thought about that. Maybe on like peaceful mode, would that be cool? Like without all of the crazy spiders and all that shit. And the creepers and all of that. I think Minecraft would be kind of fun, just literally doing whatever the fuck you want in this gigantic sandbox. I mean, anything from like redstone all the way to just houses and mansions, and being able to knock it all down and do it all over again how you want it would be kind of cool. Obviously with people, because it would get boring by yourself, but I think Minecraft would be fun. Yeah, that's really the only one I can really think of. So Centurion, it's on you, man. A video game world you'd like to live in, man.
I would want to. I don't want all the apocalyptic stuff going on in it, but I would love to live in the Mass Effect world.
Ooh. Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Go from planet to planet, just meeting. I mean, like the idea of the Citadel, I found cool. Just I think, in my opinion, you know, I'll probably get burned at the stake for saying this, but I feel like the Mass Effect franchise, the whole world in itself, is more thought out than Star Wars.
Stag, you in on that one? You buying that?
Sorry, what? I was thinking about boobs.
Yeah, he in the chat. Look at the chat. Y'all got him all side. Look at this chat. It's 10
What
lines.
game did you say, man? Sorry.
I was saying that Mass Effect, I feel like, is a much more thought out, in-depth world.
Yeah, I'm there, dude. I'm with you on that. I like Star Wars.
I love Star Wars, but for some reason, Mass Effect just gripped me. Like,
Mass Effect's the only RPG I've ever liked.
Yeah, I was sucked in from day one.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's bold. Man, that's great.
I need to go finish Andromeda.
Crazy. Okay, so Leonidas also said he likes Mass Effects better than Star Wars as well. So there's definitely some people out there thinking the same exact thing. So looks like we're going to go ahead and wrap it up unless you guys got one more question for us in the chat. Other than that, within the next like 10 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. Once again, it was a great return show. Man, this hour flies by every time we do this. You guys show up every single week. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Appreciate you guys' love and support. I will go around the panel, let everybody know in the chat what's going on with you guys, what you guys got going forward, man. You guys are amazing. Every week this thing gets better. You guys always interact. The show is just getting crazy, and I appreciate it. So bring friends, bring anybody you know. Make sure you retweet it on the day. I always put out a link, beforehand, like the same day of a couple hours before. That way people can kind of get it and they see it in their timeline. So just retweet it. Appreciate the continued support from you guys, man. I'm going to start with you, Stag, because I know you got a lot going on. I'm sure you got some things planned in the near future. I don't know if you want to let everybody know about your setup, man. You're working on a lot of things with the setup.
I crashed everything today. I don't even know what I did. I updated a driver and my graphics card on my laptop, and now my XSplit won't load up. So after this, I'm going to be in a freaking screen share with my tech guy trying to fix my shit so that I can stream later tonight and maybe do some Stagger, because I just recently started Soma, and that game is freaking weird.
I've heard about Soma.
I mean, I'm using a guide just to help because it's so like I don't even know how to explain it, but I wouldn't even know where to go. Let's put it that way. But
got it.
Yeah, you can just find me on Mixer. You know, that's my name on there is just Stagger because I'm boring. But just streaming and tweeting less because I'm just tired of the toxicity of the communities right now and just the fakeness. So, you know, you can find me on Mixer. You know, you can come on Mixer. You can get a link to my Discord. I'm being more active in there. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just going to try and fix my stream tonight.
Nice. Awesome, man. Once again, all that information is in the description below. So Stagger's Mixer channel is in the description below. Please click on that. Go follow him. Drop some members on him. Whatever you guys can do to support him. Fantastic streamer. Fantastic gamer. He does a lot for the community as well. Most of his streams, not most of them, but a lot of them, are charitable streams, things like that. So just be on the lookout for him.
Charity link's always up in my stream. You can always donate. It pops up. If you don't know what it is, type in !dono and you will get a link.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we appreciate you, Stag, for being on the show, being part of the podcast, man. My one of my compatriots, man. One of the guys I lean on, so I appreciate you, man. Centurion, man, we're gonna bounce it over to you, the newest member of the show. If you're just seeing now, Centurion is actually officially part of the Shop Podcast. He is a part of another podcast as well. It was the what's the other podcast you're on?
Saltiest podcast.
Salty. No slight to Salty. I just brain fart here, but Salty's usually in here in the chat talking shit. We appreciate you, Salty. So go check out Salty's channel as well. He's amazing. But go ahead and let everybody know what's going on with you, Centurion, what you got coming down the pipeline.
Well, again, thank you for letting me be part of this. I enjoy being here every Saturday with you guys. But yes, I am also on Salty's podcast on Thursdays. But nobody's going to really hear from him for probably too much for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, because he's actually supposed to have a baby on Tuesday.
Awesome. Shout out to Salty,
congrats.
Man. Yeah. Send him a DM or something.
Wait, he's having a baby?
No, his woman is having a, yeah. Oh, man. All righty.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm lurping around on YouTube and Twitter under Centurion1307. And just in case you guys really want to find me, I do hang out on my own website, legionofgamer.com, where I put a lot of my content and my actual opinions on stuff. But other than that, I'm here with you guys every Saturday, and I actually look forward to doing this every Saturday. It's awesome to just shoot gaming with you guys.
Appreciate it, man. Once again, his link is in the description below for his YouTube channel. I'm sure when you get to the channel, you can find links to everything else. His Twitter, the actual website that he's a part of as well. Go ahead and give those guys a shout out as well. The guys that you do the website with.
Oh, excuse me?
Wasn't it? Aren't there a set of guys you do the website with?
Oh, yeah. I also help out bg4ghub.com. Wow, it's been a long day. I also do podcasting with them as well. Holy cow. But yeah, it's a great group of guys from the UK that are really trying to set a new standard of gaming media, especially over there.
Awesome, man. Great things. We always trying to connect, collaborate, man. So appreciate you taking some time. I always appreciate you every single Saturday, man. Take a little bit of time to hang out with us, man. Huge addition to the show, brings a lot to the table. Go check him out. All of that link is in the description below. So if you're following me, you watch the show every Saturday, please go follow him. Go subscribe, drop some likes on him, man. He appreciate everything about you, Centurion. You're a real stand-up dude, man. So last but not least, Mr. Fuzzy himself. I keep telling myself I'm not going to do this, and I do it every week. I don't even know why I do this every week. But either way, Fuzz, let everybody know what you're going, what's going on with you, what you got going on, man, where you going to be at.
Hey, you can usually find me on Twitter, although I'm trying not to argue too much. Fuzzy_Belvedere on PSN, although I probably haven't turned my PlayStation on in like 6 months now, but that would be Fuzzy_Belvedere as well. Or you can catch me on Xbox Live, Fuzzy_Belvedere, probably either playing Forza or The Division. It's kind of like a 50-50 split, although I might hop into some NASCAR stuff tonight because, 4th of July race, although I think they're rained out right now. Every time I turn to NBC, it's off. But, yeah, just really, really enjoyed being on here with you guys. And, man, awesome show, awesome topics as usual.
Definitely as usual, man. And we're going to work on that damn YouTube channel, Fuzz. At some point, look, this is what's going to happen. Me, Stag, and Centurion, we're going to create a pool. And anybody want to donate, we're going to get this man a damn Windows fucking computer so he can actually start doing some videos. He's still trying to figure out that whole Apple and trying to get the videos, but we're going to figure it out, man. Appreciate you, man. Consistent, man. I'm sure once you get a channel up, I mean, it's going right to the top. I already know. You got a great following as well. You're a super knowledgeable guy. I appreciate you being on the show every single week, man. Shout out to Zalker. Shout out to Jarhead. 2 other unseen members of the podcast. They contribute a lot as well. Those guys are amazing. So shout out to you two gentlemen as well. So last but not least, host with the most, BTK Blam. I do this every single week. We do this as a group every single week. Follow me on Twitter. My first name, last name. Hit me up on Xbox. You guys want a game? I get a lot of random followers on Xbox, but nobody ever really invites me or sends me messages. So if you follow me or decide to add me as a friend, hit me up. Send me a quick message. I'll try and reply as best as I can. I am on playing, usually later on in the day, in the evening. Me, Fuzz, Centurion, we played quite a bit, Shonsu, so hit me up there. Obviously, the channel was consistently growing. We are on the road to 2K subs, man. Let's get it. We're going to do it this year for sure. We're already 7 months in, so we got to make a big push here coming up, but I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to start doing weekly videos again. I took a break from that, guys. It was just taking too much of a toll. I work 10-hour days now, so it's kind of tough. But I'm definitely going to start recommitting myself to doing some more videos each week besides the podcast. But once again, guys, thank you guys for coming on the show. Appreciate you guys every single week. Drop a like on the way out, man. Peace out. See you guys next Saturday. Same place, same time. Peace out, everybody.